Today's question comes all the way from Sydney, Australia, because James Foster wants to ask, what are some of the metrics that Google uses to evaluate whether one iteration of the ranking algorithm is delivering better quality results to users than another? Great question. I could geek out for quite some time. I'll try to limit it to 5 minutes or so. So whenever an engineer is evaluating a new search quality change and they want to know whether it's an improvement, one thing that's useful is we have hundreds of quality raters who have previously rated URLs as good or bad, spam, all these sorts of different things. And so when you make a change, you can see the flux. You can say what moves up, what moves down, and you can look at example searches where the results changed a lot, for example. And you could say, okay, given the changed search results, take the URLs that moved up. Were those URLs typically higher rated than the URLs that moved down by the search quality raters? And sometimes, since these are pre-computed numbers, as far as the ratings, we've already got a stored data bank of all those ratings from all the raters that we have. Sometimes you'll have question marks or empty areas where things haven't been rated. So you can also send that out to the raters, get the results of either a side-by-side, or you could look at the individual URLs, and they say, oh, in a side-by-side, this set of search results is better, or this set is better, or they might say this URL is good and this URL is spam, and you use all that to assess whether you're making good progress. If you make further along and you're getting close to wanting to launch something, oftentimes you'll launch what's called a live experiment, where you actually take two different algorithms, say the old algorithm and the new algorithm, and you actually take results that would be generated by one and then the other, and you, for example, might interleave them. And then if there are more clicks on the newer set of search results, then you tend to say, oh, you know what? This newer set of search results generated by this algorithm might be a little bit better than this other algorithm. And that's great. Except, for example, in web spam, people love to click on spam, and so if sometimes our metrics look a little bit worse in web spam because people click on the spam and we're like, well, we got less spam and therefore it looks like people don't like the new algorithm as much. So you have to take all of those ratings with a little bit of a grain of salt because nothing replaces your judgment and the judgment of the Quality Launch Committee. But we do have a lot of different metrics. So people can rate things as relevant, on a scale. They can rate things as spam. They can even rate the quality of the page, which is sort of doesn't matter based on the query, but just how reputable the page is itself. And then we have metrics that blend all of that together, and when you're done you say, okay, well, in general we think that the results got a little bit better, and here are the kinds of ways that they got better or worse. We can even slice and dice and look at different countries or different languages and all that sort of stuff. So in web spam, we're not that surprised if users continue to click on the spam because we can recognize the spam. We have expert raters on those kinds of topics. And we pay special attention to certain countries where we know there's more spam, and so we can see the sorts of reactions we have there. So we've got it down to a pretty good system. Every so often we have to revive a process and look at how to improve it, but for the most part, things work relatively well in terms of assessing what are the big changes. Once you see those big changes, it gives you ideas to go back and improve and make things better. And by the time we get to the launch committee, normally everybody has a pretty good idea about whether it works and what the strengths and weaknesses of a particular algorithm are.